Hello YouTube and welcome to episodes 8, 9 and 10 of Koyomimonogatari. Back here again for some more Monogatari goodness. I apologize for the lighting as it is quite early in the morning. So still got that sunlight coming through, kind of ruining my face. But that's okay, there wasn't much there to begin with. I think I'm just going to try to jump right into the YouTube comments as there aren't that many this week. There's only the two really, and one's more of just a question, just an idea, which I guess I'll start with first. I'll kind of do my opposite order to normal. Normally I go, chronologically, but it just makes more sense to do it this way, considering Gian Bueno's the only other comment there. I'll take this as me probably doing too much last week, to the point where there wasn't much else to say, really. I'll read Gian's, and from the views, I would imagine that these aren't particularly well-remembered episodes either, so it is what it is. But I found them very interesting last week, so I can't really speak bad on it that much anyway. I thought the content was good. Either way, first comment here by Simon, just book. And I have a confession, I haven't been reading the book. And that doesn't mean I won't read the book in the future. I'm planning on doing some whenever I get some time. So the problem is with my schedule is that I work full time, and then all my free time is basically on this channel, and then whenever I get a little scrape of other free time outside of that, it's either this or this at the moment. So as soon as one of those things don't become as pressing, I'll probably get back to it. It isn't, again, I want to get back to it badly, I just have other priorities at the moment. Yeah, but I think that just comes with any amount of territory in this space, right? Like, it's hard to do extra stuff in your free time if most of your free time is spent looking into a webcam talking. Alright, and now on to Gian Bueno's comment here. I'll try to keep this brief, and then, he tried. You know what? It is briefer than some of the other comments I've been getting lately, so we'll take that. So Gian really liked my interpretation on the tree being some kind of metaphor for puberty. Very unique take. I thought, yeah, this is the fun part about Monogatari. I thought that this was the obvious take, and I thought that the stuff that I did with the groupthink Augie formula stuff was the hidden stuff behind it that you would only know once you get to Owari, right? Like why else were there boobs everywhere other than it being, Monogatari? But you know what I mean though, right? Like it's a clear part. Growth is a clear theme in that episode in particular, episode 7. 6? I think it was 6. So I don't know. It just felt natural to me anyway. So we're doing the same thing we do with a lot of these comments in Koyomimonogatari with Gian Bueno. We're going through the first chapters that are skipped from each of these little mini episodes, I guess, mini arcs. And seemingly we're going into paths again, similar to how we were doing kind of roads last week as well. It's all kind of similar thematically there. Maybe some kind of journey, some kind of story, perhaps. So Karen does karate. I don't know if you guys know, it's kind of a main part of her character. And we're kind of ascribing karate as a very straightforward path of growth, right? Like, there's a one-way street laid out before him, no twists and turns. Araragi can't imagine what that's like for somebody. For Karen, right? Like, no need for a map, no twists and turns. Very straight road. Even if there's darkness ahead, right? There's no use in kind of panicking or anything. There's one way, and you're going down it. So, kind of thinking about this, mulling this over, Araragi asks her the question: if you were in a situation when you had to give up karate, what would you do? And again, he wasn't trying to concern Karen. He was genuinely interested, right? Did you think about the possibility? Have you thought about it? What's going on here? Just wants to pick her brain a little bit, right? And yeah, it's a real possibility. If you train in any kind of sport, there's a chance of a career-ending injury or something of the like, right? Especially with karate, somebody could just knock your lights out or cave your knee in or something, and you'd be done. And we're equating this to however clear the road before you, however well-maintained and spectacular, there is the chance of mechanical trouble. Karen is unruffled by this. You're wrong, big brother. Wherever I drop is the finish line. Getting to that point where I can't go any further is the goal. To walk until you drop, without ever stalling out. She had the fierce determination to forge ahead until she fell. So hey, it's not a need to deviate off the road. My road just stops there, potentially starting on a new road? Maybe. Again, I think it fits Karen's character that she's just I'll just stop. It's oh, okay, sure. Whatever. And apparently then we're moving on to tea with Tsukihi, whose roads or view on roads deeply contrasts Karen's. So Araragi opens by saying that she doesn't give the impression of somebody walking down a road, but somebody that forges ahead lightly, as if she was flying, as if she was some kind of like bird creature or something. He always thought asking someone like her would be pointless, but he did it anyway. Tsukihi, how do you see the path you tread? Even if her road isn't contiguous with the ground, the skies must have pathways too. Well, I mean, yeah, airplanes follow some kind of fixed courses. I think you can't just fly wherever you want. Yeah, you know, classic path of least resistance stuff, right? You're not going to see like some bird flying against the wind. That's just, well, when they do, they kind of just stand in the air. So, yeah. So even Tsukihi had to have a path, or the concept of a path that served as her compass, that she took to be her compass. However, Tsukihi answered, there are no paths in the sky, big brother. Even if there were, I'd ignore them. I can't do things the way they're supposed to be done. Interesting. Okay. If she was dead set on being a bird, not an airplane, then getting sucked into the engine of a jet and causing major accident almost seemed like a certainty. Oh my god. It's a bit dark. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of this, right? Yeah, I was kind of mulling this over last week as well. Tsukihi's probably the character that has the least going on? Probably, I would think, right? Tsukihi's whole point is that she's kind of just doing her own thing and that we work around her, right? She gives some good advice every now and again, but other than that, she doesn't really have much going on in the story department. She doesn't have like a start, finish, and an end like every other character, I think, anyway. I mean, that could all change in time, but I don't see it anyway. Either way, a hot-headed, justice-bound sister with a righteous path in front of her, content with however far she can get, and a free-spirited sister that has no goal or objective to walk towards, and that might just keep going on forever. Oh, I like that interpretation. That's probably the best read of that, actually. And yeah, duality, right? They contrast each other and they complement each other, like kind of all the same, right? That's their vibe. And much like last week, I don't think there's really much point in doing a whole bunch of extra stuff. Where were we though? Well, here. So we finished October. November? Oh my god, November. So let's try to figure some stuff out when November would be, right? Because that's a Tory, right? Yeah, kind of a big skip. Okay, interesting. Now we could probably move this to, because conversation with Orgi regarding Kabuki is probably somewhere. Maybe it's here. You could say it's somewhere near or after Orgi gets introduced, right? Where Araragi's still having those conversations with her. It could be October, it could be November, it could be December, it could be anywhere, right? So that's probably actually a good spot. But either way, we don't really have much to go off. Oh yeah, and then this was crazy too, right? We have some conversation about like Hachikuji's death from Monogatari with Orgi, and then Orgi's like says some crazy like foreshadowing shit that I probably should go back and have another look at. She has work to do, something about liars. Okay, I mean, I'm not sure how that's going to be relevant at all. I mean, the most we can do is play off the end of October with Araragi, and then maybe some stuff about Koi. But again, Araragi's not in Koi, so that's hard to do. We will see. We'll take maybe a broader lens to like Monogatari as a whole, which was the missing piece last week. That's why it took me so long. It took me till the editing to figure out that, hey, this is all about the classroom. This is all about groupthink. This is all about that side of it, right? So yeah, we're going to try to think about the events of Monogatari and how they may pertain to this. The other question, of course, other than the timeline, is the girl. Who do we have left? We have a Yotsugi. We have an Orgi. We have a Gainazuka, but I would imagine you're keeping that to last. We have a Sadachi, but I don't think you would do that. Have we really done a Shinobu one yet? Not really, I don't think. Have we? I'm so forgetful. I don't think we've really done a Shinobu one anyway, so... who else? Kaganui? Maybe? His mom? Yeah, I don't really have many other people. Kambaru's like grandma? Yeah, it's going to be like Yotsugi or something, you would think, right? And I guess we'll know pretty immediately from the opening. Either way, we've got an open mind. We've got 3 episodes, so I better jump in, but not before my shill stuff. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord. Join Discord. Love Discord. Discord. And yeah, jumping into episode 8 of Koyomimonogatari right now. I have a very dark episode 8 of Koyomimonogatari up here ready to go. I just saw the like the preview thumbnail and it looked like the Orgy opening. But how would that make any sense? Because that would come canonically after? Oh no, they would have made Owari already. Gotcha. Okay. So this will be Orgy, by the way. I'm pretty sure this will be Orgy. But again, we'll jump in. There will be a picture-in-picture version provided. I'm using the some kind of subs. What are they called again? A Toy subs. And they're actually on this week, so that's good. And I'm just gonna give it a 3, 2, 1. Radio. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, this is the one for Orgy Formula. Look at all like the classroom shit. Look at this little gremlin. I forgot how cool this song is too. Like the melody here is like super happy, but the chorus is like, again, I don't know much about music, but it sounds a little bit more minor key. And of course, we'll give those lyrics another peruse as well. Decent black, not decent black, decent black. And of course, we've got our formula math stuff going on, considering how important it is to the arc. She's got the TV going here. She's got all that detective shit going on. She's got her OBS window open. Lots of stuff going on. Koyomi Mountain. I am the mountain. November. Yes, true. Ooh, up to the shrine, you reckon? Alright, yeah, let's just go hang out with Orgy at the shrine. Nothing bad will happen. So you followed her out here without knowing why? Gaslighting? Doesn't sound like Orgy. You reckon? Because of connection to gods? Okay. Oh, Discord reference. Ah! Okay, we're gonna move the shrine. Hmm. Hmm. The last day of summer vacation. Was that August? She's like a monkey or a cat. Okay. Wait, I just thought about something. This doesn't make any sense. We'll see. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Where? Okay. I don't know. They just kind of moved it. Well, yeah, probably like a while in the past. I don't know. You just kind of do it. Well, they must have had like some kind of location. I don't know. Ooh, path reference. Aliens? Oh my god. What did they do? Okay. Incredibly inconvenient. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have like nothing for you with this one. Well, yeah. Oh, but wait, how does that involve moving a shrine though? Yeah. Hmm. Okay. I don't know. Somebody might. Somebody might rebuild it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I've figured out the timeline, everybody. I did it. Because that was my biggest question in all of this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think you'll get a chance to use it, is the problem. Gotcha. Okay. So my thoughts broadly on this one is that it's talking mainly to things that like we haven't even seen yet, right? It's all about the shrine, it's all about the balance, it's all about again this guy Nezuko like giving us that thing, which to my knowledge we haven't even like seen that scene yet. We only know about it through like hearsay from other arcs that he has this thing that Guy Nezuko gave him that's going to, enshrine a god to that shrine, right? If anything, it blows Tori right out the water, right? Because that last piece of dialogue implies that again, Nadeko knew what she was trying to do the whole time, but was fucking delusional. And told this whole Otori Monogatari story, painting herself as some kind of victim, where that just isn't the case. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, I think again we will. This should be one that I like go back to, but I don't. But I won't. I know I won't. But like, I don't know if I'll have much to say. But I say that every time, and then end up like speaking for half an hour. So we're gonna hold hold judgment. And yeah, jumping into a piece of analysis of episode. What episode was this again? 8. We're going to say 8. Okay, so before I write anything down about anything else, I have discovered something. I've gone to Otori Monogatari episode 2, and this is what she's wearing. Gotcha. I have solved timeline, everybody. Cool. So it's a very, very small slice in November between Otori Monogatari shenanigans starting, which I thought was October 31st, right? And then there's a couple of nights sleep within Otori, I think. So it's a very small slice in which you haven't done the thing yet, but you've started to being like you said Kuchinawa, so you know all about that, right? It's Kuchinawa, I believe it's Kuchinawa-san. Um, so yeah, the very, very, very specific timing. Because if this is only like 48 hours later, you're already up on that shrine. You already have rebuilt that shrine, among other things. Augie's or more of Augie's plan has fallen into place. Um, Now thinking about it, there's a bunch of stuff about shedding snake skin, how that maybe that relates to like relocation or something, or moving home, or changing form, or snakes are the original gods, or whatever she said. yeah, either way, I'll probably take another small break here and try to write something down about what Augie said, or maybe I'll leave that for after. Because again, I don't really have much to tell you regarding a small little narrative here. It's more just Augie kind of lore dumping about the shrine itself. It's less of a mini arc, more like, again, a little complementary piece to other content in the series. But yeah, I just found this interesting. You're wearing your little outfit here, right? And then you spend the night at the Araragi household for some reason. I forget. I forget this whole freaking episode, man. Oh yeah, we're in the sand pit, and then she has like an evil face, and then we end up here because we're like inviting her over or something. What'd you do in the sand pit again? Because again, you have like evil face somewhere. Yeah, here. Because you want to get to the Araragi household, right? That's part of your whole thing. Okay, gotcha. All right. I think it's been a while. Anyway, it's fun to go back sometimes. So in the opening, right? Now let's open up the door and start our adventure. Start our story. Because I'm just going to read through these lyrics again, I think, right? Let's find the answer that leads towards the correct future, or leads us towards the correct future. Correct. Proper? Yeah, because I mean, it's all about because this is pertaining to the classroom stuff, right? So we need to find out what actually happened, what the truth is, and how that's going to impact Araragi. I want to do this, I want to do that is the law of greed. I can't do that, I can't do this, it's full of contradictions. Things match perfectly at this moment, things also match perfectly at a false moment. And then kind of just the chorus again. Remember the boundless regret with eyes averted. Okay, well that's very specifically about Augie Classroom and Araragi. The mistakes you made with ears covered? Yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad. So I don't make the same mistakes again. But he did. He'd already made the same mistake in the past, right? Where he just averted his eyes from something he didn't like. Yeah, okay, interesting lyrics there. Kind of a small re-examination of Augie Classroom very quickly. Okay, so Koyomi Mountain, right? Well, the mountain is the mountain they're climbing up, and kind of like mountains being something linking to gods, and that the shrine and the mountain are kind of not associated with each other. They're forming discord. I remember I made a joke. So Augie very strides up that mountain very quickly. And the thing that confused me initially, and I guess I'll skip to what I was talking about, right? Where she's kind of like inside. Where's that at? Like here. I'm like, is like Nadeko fucking in here somewhere? Is there some weird like perspective shit going on? But no, not yet. We kind of do see Nadeko in here in the intro to Atori, right? Where she already has like the snake hair and everything, and then comes out and fucking murders Araragi. Well, kinda. She tries to. So yeah, that was confusing because I'm like, November, everything of Atori's happened. No, we're in the middle of Atori right now. Interesting. We see Augie gaslighting Araragi a little bit as he asks, "Hey, like, are you ready to tell me why we're trekking up here?" And she's like, "I already did tell you." Silly. It's like, well, I don't remember. I guess she's right. Like, again, classic Augie stuff, classic Araragi just kind of believing her. One of the best scenes, probably even in the show, right, is the one during one of the arcs? I'm going to say Sodachi Lost, where Augie's trying to convince Araragi to let her come with him to see Sodachi, but then Hanakawa sees through it immediately and jumps in the way. One of my favorite scenes. So good. And of course, yeah, this line here, it must be that I inadvertently forgot. Koyomimonogatari, ladies and gentlemen. So she says, like, mountains are her, like, field of expertise. Mountains in general are similar to aberration, or apparition. I did this last week. Aberration. That's not a word. So because of the mountain's link to spirituality, it's not unnatural that a shrine would be here, though the North Shirahebi shrine and this mountain do not have any connection. Like they're a little bit disassociated, right? So two things that aren't like meant to be together are tied together, and it's sowing discord. I don't really understand how that pertains to any of the rest of the show, but sure. Oh, disregard that. Even if there's something wrong with the initial setup, it's supposed to be that you can redo things like that as often as you want. Are you saying that the shrine being built on this mountain was a mistake? I came here to repair that mistake, to make it proper. I'm lost as fuck as to what like this is referential to. I know where it is in the timeline. I know what we're talking about. Could this be like a twisted Nadeko metaphor or something? Two things that are incompatible being tied together sowing discord, that being herself and Kuchinawa-san? Maybe it's on the mind. That's why the mountain and the shrine are important as well. That's why you talk about snake shedding skin and how we're relating that to Nadeko as well. Maybe. I do not know. Okay, so then we see like the little charm, right? But my thought was he took the charm off and put it on the first, right? Oh my god, Seishiro or something? Yeah, I'm forgetting his name already. Jeez. Did he just peel it off and put it back on the shrine again? Maybe, I guess. I guess that would work. So it's somewhat precarious, but it's somehow keeping balance for the case in question, right? So what the discord that Augie is talking about, probably what makes this such a good aberration type location, right? This is like a band-aid solution. He put a band-aid on it, but it's not perfect, as we see later on why it's not perfect. So again, like, when we're writing this part of the story, Owari Monogatari hasn't happened yet in the novel order, but in real life, it has already happened. That's why we get an Augie formula opening as well, when that probably shouldn't make sense novel order-wise. But also, like, that's why this is related to the Shinobu Mail, right? That's why we're up here. That's why we're talking about the kind of the sticker, the charm as well. On the last day of summer vacation, Shinobu and I cleared this place after all. It seems like it's hard to believe this is a place where such an energy drift would lie. But that's because we cleared it? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by cleared? Does that have to do with the first? You would have to imagine so, right? Considering the last day of summer again, I'm guessing that this is August 20 whatever, like when Shinobu Mail is taking place. But I came here today for a different reason, not to look at the energy drift, but for some other reason. She climbs up to the top of the shrine. We remark that it's like a monkey or a cat, which again has some connotations to certain characters. I don't know why he said that, but he said that, which is weird. So okay, the snake god. We're talking about Kuchinawa-san, right? But again, Kuchinawa is a thought experiment. Or the Kuchinawa-san. Okay, listen. Let me break this down, my understanding of Ettore. Nadeko is deluding herself into thinking that she's the victim, to which a snake that's a thingo around her wrist convinces her to eat the thing. In reality, she just ate the thing and then kind of didn't become, but kind of became associated with the real Kuchinawa-san because of that. That's my understanding anyway. It could be incorrect. But we're talking about it for a specific reason involving Nadeko later in the episode. We're talking about the sacred status of snakes. How did that come to pass? How did that come to be? So we think about like ancient civilizations. Why would something become a god? Why would we revere it as a god, or at least symbolically, right? They aren't useful to humans, such as cows and horses, which have been gods throughout many different cultures in various locations around the world. They're not commonplace, they're not everywhere. Like why them, right? It's because the snake symbolizes immortality or revival. Okay, well that's easily applicable, both of these terms, to Ettore, right? Immortality, true. Revival, I became something else. There was a change there, right? And this is through snakes growing via molting. Considering how reclusive an animal a snake is, you may see the shed skins as more often than you see the snakes themselves. Or more often, okay. Sure. Shedding skin, changing appearance, revival, okay. Ettore, okay. Back when biology wasn't as advanced as it is now, molting had been observed, and you'd look at that snake and go, oh fuck, that's weird, let's make it a god. Okay, sure. Change. Well, the current problem is settling things in the shrine. Settling things here in North Shirohebi Shrine, where a snake that lived over a millennium was deified over a millennium ago. I thought it said defied, and I was like, what are you talking about? So this is a snake shrine, i.e. snake god, that was deified a while ago, and then we're linking that into Nadeko. She also killed a lot of snakes, remember that? Yeah, that was weird. We're also settling what Oshino Meme did, right? The situation involving this place, right? where he put a band-aid solution on it. Apparently the energy drift was already resolved. So to make this clear, the aftermath of the typhoon known as Kishot was settled by the uncle, right? So we settled the like that whole vampire side of it, right? There still is like the mismatch between the snake shrine and the mountain that needs to be resolved. Like, what's to say another apparition at the level of Heart Under Blade were to come along? There's no countermeasures to save it from that, right? And now that things are safe for the time being, I believe that the next step is to have countermeasures for the energy drift itself. Okay, so this is talking more to why, or at least I think why, Guy Nezuko wants a god here, right? Like, something enshrined here to stop further things from happening of a mysterious nature, right? So there's still an energy drift here. There's still some, like, fuckery with the mismatch of the mountain and the shrine that can kind of be used to perpetuate aberrations and that kind of thing, right? So, like, we need somebody enshrined here, and then you're broadly talking about your weird Otori plan with Nadeko, I think. And when then we talk about moving the shrine, you can't just move it to somewhere else. Not after all that's happened. And you're right, you can't move it. But then we speak of history, right? And it's like, did you know that the shrine used to be in a completely different location? And that's where we talk about, I guess, our central little mystery to the arc we're talking about now. Up until this point in the episode, it's basically just been like Otori Monogatari supplementary stuff, right? With a little bit of Shinobu Mail mixed in. This is where we actually get into like what this mini episode is actually even about, what the mystery involved is. So it used to be in a different location, but they like moved it. They affixed it to a different location. We don't really understand why. So how did a shrine that was built elsewhere, right, the previous incarnation, how was it moved to another location? Araragi immediately goes, oh yeah, the building was probably dismantled and brought straight over, right? That's how I would relocate a shrine. If the wood itself is important to said shrine. But think about it, right? There would be no like paths back in the day. Why would there be a path up to this thing where nothing is built yet, right? So how would they move the materials through the forest up to the top of the mountain? So to get it up here, you'd have to build a path. But why build the path? And you wouldn't have the construction materials able to build the path? Are we blaming this on some kind of otherworldly force building this? And it's nothing of the sort. It's not a spiritual thing. It's merely human wisdom. In my opinion, that's an extremely inconvenient relocation. And we're emphasizing that word. Okay. I'm struggling to see the metaphor here, really. Why we're talking about it like this, right? There's clearly something going on. You're clearly inferring something about something else right now that I'm not quite seeing. Because of that, you could say that I came here to this town. Because of that inconvenient relocation to fix it broadly? This seems like a very important line, no? Because I don't feel like she's lying. I feel like she's just like not telling the whole truth. She's giving us a little hint. Really, what's with this Shirahebi of the North nonsense? And then we go to the epilogue. That's why I came here in the first place. This extremely inconvenient relocation. What is this Shirahebi nonsense anyway? I mean, I see the Otori stuff. Is that all she's talking about? Is there something else beyond this that we should be looking into? I do not know. That is definitely something I should write down, though. Okay, but we'll just finish off this part and then I'll write down some stuff. I like how you immediately see it as a test. So now we're back at the house with Nadeko, by the way, and she saw it as kind of like a game, right? Something that was testing her, some kind of mystery that she easily, resolved. It wasn't that they moved all the materials from one location to another. It's that they cut out a bunch of trees to clear the land and then used that same wood to build the shrine, right? And then I had some broad thoughts about, Koyomi and tree, right? And cutting down a bunch of trees to build something like this. That could be, is this anything? I don't know. Oh yeah, I was going to ask about the hat, because I remember you were wearing a hat when I saw, when I brought up Otori episode 2 before. And I was like, oh yeah, hat. Where did hat go? Averting eyes? Something? Is this anything? But no, you've got it there. So they just built a new shrine. That's the thing, right? They just used the wood that was already there. And then, okay, I guess this links into a little bit more of the Koyomi stuff, right? So building a completely new shrine with new lumber. There's been a lot of stuff about building structures like that between the first episode with the stone, and there was one other that I'm forgetting as well where we're building something. Anyway, it must be important. Anyway, how is this a relocation? The corpse? I mean, the object of worship
and things like that would have been brought over. And you're looking at Kuchinawa right now, right? So in like again, I'm relating this very much to stone, right? Like it's not it's weird. It's not the wooden casing that's important, it's what's within it, right? The kind of aberration or whatever's being worshipped, the sacred spiritual thing is being brought across, right? That has significance because of the shrine around it, right? It would just be a corpse anywhere else, right? But like because it's here in the shrine, it gains importance. I think there's something in that for sure. So they swapped buildings, took the thing, and then took the name with it as well, because again, names are important in Monogatari. If there's no change to the faith, nothing changes even if it's swapped. And again, you're just continuously looking at your little Kuchinawa. What's important is the balance. The act of worshipping a god at the top of a mountain, or that mountain, is throwing off some kind of balance, right? And we want to restore that balance. If we think about, what did Thingo say? I'm a great balancer. Is that an Oshi no meme? Or was that a Gainazuko? I don't know. Like, feels like Gainazuko will want to restore balance as well, but the same way that, okay, I think does Gainazuko and Orgi want like the same thing with the mountain? They both want the mountain to be like right again. They want to fix it. I think Orgi wants to fix it in a way that would inflict the most pain on Araragi as possible, for reasons. So yeah, I feel like this is an episode that I would need to come back to even, right? After I learn more about Orgi, and then a lot will become clear. And then we get like scary Otori Monogatari sounds with Nadeko, right? Where she's like, oh, I just thought of something based on that little quiz. That shrine's in ruins. I wonder if they're going to rebuild it. If that happens, I wonder what will happen to the balance Orgi-chan's talking about. Rebuilding a shrine that doesn't have any visiting worshippers or a god left, what kind of faith will be born there by refurbishing it? And then, of course, like very obvious stuff, like godlike glow around Nadeko. And then he stops himself. It's like no matter what changes, the faith and the god will be, and the faith and the apparition will continue, despite everything. And you want that shrine rebuilt. That place probably won't be an energy drift for those bad things. Is this almost where you get like the idea to rebuild it as well, maybe? By then, Kuchinawa, and you keep calling Kuchinawa like blurting that out instead of Snake God. By then, they'll be back at that shrine too, and we get like these like scary shots in the middle as well, like here, crazy stuff. It'd be better that way, wouldn't it? And then he says, "Yeah." There was no way for me to know such a thing. In any case, from some point, the balance of our town has been continually crumbling. I have a kind of bad feeling. No, it isn't a premonition. It's a solid feeling. The day that I use that talisman that Gainazuko entrusted to me, the day that I have no choice but to use it, may not be that far off. And then, yeah, these magazines as well, they're the ones that are like on top of it from memory. I remember these specifically from the end of Otori, right? Yeah, look at this. Okay, this is all very cohesive. And this is, yeah, after she's cut her hair and done the thing. I remember. Okay, but like, where does that leave us here? What should I write? So I don't really have much for you. I've got a very specific placement, right? So she hides the snake from Araragi and is on a mission to find his real body. And this is between like the episode 2 ending with Shinobu victimizing Nadeko. This is where this like kind of jumps in, right? Like, Orgi takes Araragi up to North Shirahebi Shrine and tells him about the imbalance that exists on top of the mountain. Orgi mentions something like the mismatch between the shrine and the mountain as a reason for being here, the extremely inconvenient relocation, we call it. What is this Shirahebi of the North nonsense? Is a specific line I wrote down that we may have to come back to. How does this link into Gainazuko and her goals here? How does this link into the thingo that she gave to Araragi that then Nadeko eats and becomes a god? What's going on here? And Nadeko solves the small case involving the clearing of the trees for some reason, which again may be some broad stuff linking into like snakes shedding skin, new homes, change. It doesn't matter what the change is, the belief and the systems there won't change, considering like if the faith is there and the god is there, location doesn't matter. Is what I'm getting out of that, and how we're relating that to snakes shedding skin, I believe, as well as snakes like in a god sense representing immortality and kind of like reincarnation. Change. Okay, cool. That was a lot on a little, so we're going to try to get into the next one and try to figure some other stuff out. I don't know. I don't think I got very far on that one, but I can see the links to both Otori and Shinobu Mail, at least, right? So yeah, onwards and upwards with episode 9, I guess? Yeah, episode 9. Radio? Ooh, no, I can't do that. That would get me flagged on YouTube. That's better. Radio, we've got a episode 9 of Koyomimonogatari up here ready to go. 12 minutes and 47 seconds on that one, so sync up accordingly. Got those Twish Y subs, as well as the picture-in-picture. Just going to give it a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, so I got a little preview frame for this one as well, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one from Shinobu Mail. So where are we now? December. Okay. Probably should have looked at what I had written down for December. Oh, subs. I can fix that right this second. Every time. I'm like, why aren't I getting the lyrics? There we go. Don't think we need to go through the lyrics on this one. I do like the choir openings, though. They're cool. Indeed. Koyomi Taurus? Taurus. But not Taurus. Taurus. December. Oh, hello, Senjogahara. Yes. Great. Okay, that's funny. What have you found? Well, yeah. It's when you avert one's eyes. Okay. Oh my god. That's a scary shot. Alright, she loves donuts. We can relate. She's like pressing her face up against the screen. Donut clock? What is happening? What? What do you mean? Yeah, I believe they were made by Senjogahara. It looked like she was cooking in the first scene. Yeah. Well, it is, but, you know, there's there's value in it being made by somebody. Yeah, it was just something nice. No, she's nice. Well, yeah. Okay. That was very specific. What do you mean? What are you talking about? She didn't poison it. Oh. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sure, I didn't know this. We're in silly areas, and that's good. We like silly Monogatari. Especially after last episode that was a big thinker. Pondering. Oh my god, golden ratio? Okay, sure. I can't. She is very simple. If you make her donuts, she'll be very happy. No, but I want one of them. They're for me. I haven't tried all of them though. No, shut up. They're for me. Mm-hmm. I want all of them. Oh, the donuts on the dress too. Oh, I mean, kakushigoto. True. Well, yeah, it was. Well, yeah, kinda. But also, somebody was doing some shit behind the scenes. No, I'm just gonna eat them. It's true. I like how we're relating donuts to like God creating talisman. Yeah, what if Shinobu hid the talisman by eating it? Draw. Where are you gonna hide him? What cleavage? Yeah. You used to. I don't know. Good question. With what? Oh, I see. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Monogatari moment. Sure. I'm sure he'll hate that. But it's a static. Well, yeah. Look at Hanako. Oh no! What about why were they stuffed in your mouth? Don't know. Okay, probably those 3 locations we just saw. Well, it's more like Araragi not being able to see stuff. Okay. Well, what is that? How do you even do that without, like, ripping it apart? I agree. Okay. She's at fucking, like, Cat Lake or something. Okay. What? What do you mean? It's hard to focus on something else, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Sure. I got nothing. Well, I don't have nothing. I have like the stuff where we're relating to like averting one's eyes, not being able to see things right in front of you, not interpreting things the right way, hiding things, obscuring things from Araragi. That's all very obvious. And how that links into, well, Owari Monogatari first and foremost, but other parts in the story as well. I'm thinking like there's the stuff. This is like the fallout from Atori. This is why we're talking about like hiding things around the room and relating it to like talismans and talisman masters and that kind of thing. It's obviously talking about Gaian, right? And Nadeko eating the thing. Don't eat the thing, Nadeko. It'll be bad. Um, because he didn't hide it very well. Something about love, hiding it in the shell of another thing. You could say like, wasn't it hidden like a bookmark in like a pornographic fucking novel or something? I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna have much here. I'm gonna be honest. Most of this is just like the characters being cute. Like majority of the episode is just Shinobu like eating donuts and being chuffed about it, and then Hanakawa in the end. And yeah, jumping into a small bit of analysis on episode 9. And we're back. Here's my very small summary of the episode. I don't really have much more for you after skimming through it again. Maybe there'll be some more specifics that I'll kind of hunk onto, I guess. I'm just trying to look at Shinobu content in and around here. There's not really much, like at all. Yeah, not much. You can only really read this as the aftermath of Atori, really, and that we should have hid things better. That's the only real connection I'm seeing. There's also Araragi not seeing certain stuff being hidden within certain other stuff, for not the purpose of secrecy, but for love. How does that relate to Owari Monogatari at all? Beats me. Beats me for sure. You could say, like, the Shinobu connection to Owari. Like, Shinobu hiding something for love? Hiding something from Araragi for his own benefit? Which is true-ish. Like, not telling the full story of the thirst? That is not true. That is a false thing that I'm thinking. I don't really see the point of any of this, really. Again, other than the Atori stuff. Like I see the Atori stuff there. Like we need to learn to hide things better around our rooms. So let's get some practice in that. Either way, Senjugahara makes donuts. Shinobu smells said donuts, wants to eat said donuts, suggests taste testing all said donuts. Araragi gets mad about said donuts. They then agree to a game about said donuts, where Araragi can have all the donuts he wants, but Shinobu gets to hide them around the room. He only found 3 of the 4 that were hidden, and wants Hanakawa's help to find the location of the other one. Hanakawa suggests that Shinobu hid one of the donuts in one of the bigger donuts to teach him a point about love, apparently, as opposed to secrecy or deception. Again, like broad stuff to Owari. I even thought then like some Sodachi stuff, weirdly enough. Like hiding certain things from certain people for certain reasons. Like, should we just tell the truth all the time? Is there love in telling little fibs? Did we have to tell Sodachi the full truth about what happened? Was that a necessary thing? Was telling her the full truth in the end the best option? Again, that is way off base. It's not what this is about at all, because I don't know what this is about. So I might just like leave it at that and jump into the episode. Again, I don't think we need to go through this opening much anymore. I kind of got all I needed to get out of that with Shinobu Male. We jump into the title, which is Koyomi Taurus. There, Taurus being a hole in a donut that's kind of weird, I think. But again, I need to like read it again because I'd never heard of this term in my life. And it seems to be a departure from everything else. So like stone, water, wind, mountain, tree, tea even. Tea's probably the closest, but like everything else had kind of a natural tinge to it. Where that's just a sweet. that's just a sweet. Unless it's like something, I guess I could like look it up quickly. A donut-shaped surface generated by a circle rotated around its axis in its plane that does not intersect the circle. A ring torus is sometimes colloquially referred to as a donut. Okay, gotcha. Like, what? I just don't... I guess you could relate it broadly to some of the math stuff from Owari? Is this anything? I don't know. Either way, it's December. We see Senjugahara is making donuts. I forgot that you like fried them, by the way. I've never like made them by hand. This episode's like right off the bat very silly. So we see this shot, which is like tokusatsu fucking Shinobu jumping out of the shadow, which I think is endlessly endearing. She originally doesn't see Araragi and comments that it's so hard to see what's right in front of you indeed. Again, like it's weird, right? The events of Owari have played out already, so they're almost like making references to it, which is weird. Because from memory, that's like October is a lot of Owari stuff. So yeah, it has been already, and we're very excited that it's about donuts. And this shot, it's kind of freaking me out. I don't like this at all, and we're very excited about the donuts. We like press our face up against the screen. We get like a clock donut here, which I don't really understand. I guess it's to show the passage of time through when Araragi's like trying to study and when things maybe change further in the afternoon. Yeah, if you like cute Shinobu stuff, then this is probably your episode. I was more interested in Hanako at the end, but sure. Shinobu's confused because she doesn't recognize said donuts. Apparently they're from Senjugahara, a little like pick-me-up for him to continue studying for entrance exams. And it's cheaper to just buy them, Shinobu says. Well, like, Senjugahara made me them for free. It was a gift, so I don't have to buy them at all. Like, Shinobu not understanding the concept of a girlfriend giving a gift to her boyfriend and not having to, like, spend money. Like, holy shit, I'm amazed I can get, like, donuts for free. And again, Shinobu kind of, like, doesn't like Senjugahara, but only like kinda. I don't know, it's weird. Wasn't there some weird stuff about like Shinobu finding Senjugahara attractive or something? Question mark? Am I making that up? Anyway, she thinks they're like poisoned, but also this could just be a ploy to eat donuts, which it ends up being anyway, so like who knows? And then this is the most direct stuff referencing Otori. The donuts are probably just filled with love and stuff, right? Well, hasn't the stuff over the course of the past month shown you that, love can turn into poison depending on how you cook it? Yes, that is kind of what happened to Nadeko for sure. We get this shot too, which is like the rainy, I guess, night where the whole thing took place. You got a white gate here as well, symbolizing Nadeko, you would think. We're analyzing the donut and asking about the hole. There's a strange hole in this donut. What do you... Donuts have holes in them. This isn't your first rodeo. But again, you're just trying to find a way to, like, eat donuts, so sure. Apparently putting a hole in the center of a donut allows heat to be more evenly distributed while frying, instead of, yeah, okay, great point, because if you try to fry like a piece of dough, and it's just like a big fucking ball of dough, then it's not going to cook in the middle, like at all. Okay, fair enough. And we're allowing Shinobu to be the taste tester here, um, as demonstrated by like this kind of like opulent, almost like vampiric mansion that she's in, right? And he's like the wait staff, um, like letting like the queen do what she wants, I guess. And then we go on about like a golden ponder ring or something. I don't really understand it. You're just talking about like the Shinobu branch of Mr. Donut, the one out in the fucking Arizonan desert, which is one of the funniest locations in Monogatari. I love that place. And apparently, this like she ends by calling it like Jap amazing. Sure, go off, I guess. And apparently, like whatever she was talking about with Mr. Donut and the Golden Ponder Ring had something to do with how amazing Japan is. So I don't really get that, but sure. She may be taste testing, but she does indeed just like eat the whole thing. And she's like, well done. Call the Tsundere girl in here. I want to compliment her in person for her doing a great job making donuts. And of course, Araragi's pissed. It's like, well, I want to eat like the Senjugahara donut. That sounds like pretty good. You've gone this long without having any connection to Senjugahara. Meeting her because you bonded with her about donuts is absurd. Well, kinda. Yeah, again, like there's not a lot of like Shinobu Senjugahara in like this whole thing, really. There's been some small like back and forths, like a little bit. I don't know. Weird. And then yeah, we get into the small conflict of the episode where it's like, oh no, I'm still testing for poison. I guess I gotta eat all your donuts. Sorry, it could be a slow-acting poison, so I need to eat more to make sure that there's no poison in them. Like again, this is very obvious, like from a motivation perspective, I guess. I don't think they used the room well this episode. I talked about like the weird like mansion space that we were using before. I like this fire Eddie's rage at realizing of what's going on there. I like the various shots that we see throughout the episode of locations of where to hide things. We see 3 specifically, implying that these are the 3 locations Araragi thought of before not interpreting the last location correctly. It also links into the hiding of the talisman from the Nadeko stuff, I think. So, like, I don't know, something in that. Yeah, like contrasting the fires here too. The fiery emotions clashing over donuts, because they're very important. You don't budge from that resolute attitude and repeat hand it over like a broken record. Isn't that why the talisman the boss specialist entrusted you with was taken back? Okay. The boss specialist, Gainazuko, the talisman that she entrusted you with, the one in the drawer, was taken back by Nadeko. It was eaten, right? Because think about like when Nadeko's trying to eat that talisman, he kind of didn't do much. Like he kind of just said, "No, put it down. Stop. Don't." Like he's all just like words there. There was no action. If you'd been able to negotiate better at that point, we wouldn't be in the state we're in right now. And like we're using that as motivation for the need to hone secrecy and negotiation skills on and that kind of thing, right? Like we need to find out if you can deceive, if you can hold a secret, if you can do. Are you too like forthright for that? Again, Aragi's not a very secretive guy, really. The fact that I hid the talisman in such an easy to find place was the beginning of the tragedy, you could say. So he kind of agrees in spirit to increase his secrecy skills by trying to find a better spot to hide donuts? Question mark? Kind of. Like upon seeing things from different perspectives and finding all of the donuts, right? But because like our little moral in the end wasn't that this was for like it wasn't to hone your secrecy skills, it was to give you a little surprise that the other donut was hidden in the other donut or something. And Shinobu's like, I would be able to hide the talisman better, I would be able to hide the donuts better, so let's do that. If you give me 5 minutes, I'll make these donuts disappear right before your eyes. Which again, it's very obvious that she wants to just like eat them. And the structure of the challenge changes here, where she's like, I can guarantee that you won't find like 1 or 2 of them, right? Like I will actually hide them. I will, give you 5 minutes and then we'll see. Right? I can guarantee you. Is it because he can't see the love hidden within something that he had hidden? So he didn't understand the Nadeko's love And that's why he still couldn't find a good secret spot to hide the talisman? Maybe. Kinda. Oh no, this one's stumping me. She says she's gonna hide him in her cleavage, and I'm like, well, you used to have cleavage, which I thought was a weird sentence to say, and I've said it again, and it still remains a weird sentence to say, so we're moving on. And then we get into the part where he needs like a blindfold, and she like pulls down her like leggings and like he puts them around his face and also implies that he put them in his mouth. So, Monogatari moment, ladies and gentlemen, for sure. Yeah, Monogatari is going to Monogatari for sure. So I think it's safest just to skip to our little epilogue section. I like this like really like staticky shot here before everything. Like this was my vision during like when I had the stockings on my face. And yeah, we go on the phone to Hanakawa. Much like a lot of these arcs, we just like pick her brain about what I potentially didn't see. Again, is this linking into a Wari Monogatari because she helped Araragi see or tried to help him see what he couldn't see around Orgi, but also around Sodachi, right? Think about that scene in Sodachi Lost where both Orgi and Hanakawa come to that same conclusion, right? But either way, she's traveling around. She's doing what she said she would post a Wari Monogatari as well, post Shinobu Mail, post Sodachi Lost, and is traveling the world, supposedly in search of Oshino. So we found 3 of the locations, one of which was the drawer in which he hid the talisman originally. One was this drawer and one was this cupboard, right? I found 3 of them, but I couldn't find the last one. If that's the case, I can only think that Shinobu ate it. But I wouldn't have thought that she would have violated the rules there. All in all, do you trust her? Well, you do trust her, right? That's why you don't believe she just ate it. And then apparently she used the second most probable trick, which is hiding a donut within another donut, which I didn't know was possible. It depends on how much dough is in your donut. If it's like got weird spots where it's kind of like air pockets, you could probably make it work. There's also the stuff where like maybe I've got one donut, pulled a bunch of dough out of it, ate all the dough, and then put like a smaller donut within it, and then just ate it. I mean, Araragi ate it. Like, you know what I mean, though, right? Like, but then again, the question turns to why she would do this. Apparently, this donut was already cut in half to begin with, so there's no need to do anything new to the hard outer shell. More like the cream would have worked as the glue after she shoved it in. And then, like, we show, like, Senjugahara making the said donuts, probably using the similar technique to get something stuffed inside the donut, maybe? That said, we don't have any proof, right? But we're still going to believe this because we believe in Shinobu and we trust Shinobu, right? But that's no good at all, right? It defeats the purpose of why Shinobu would have made the donuts or made the game up to begin with, right? Didn't she want to eat all the donuts? That's what I would have thought, right? And then it became very hard to focus on the dialogue, and I have no idea why. There's not anything on the screen that would make it really hard to focus on the dialogue. But anyway, right? You didn't understand what Shinobu was trying to do. Abandoning your own profits or objectives to not bring in personal bias. In other words, you relinquish it. To be selfless. That's the point Shinobu-chan taught you. The point for what? Negotiation, secrecy, 2 of the other things we were talking about earlier, right? That we're potentially trying to teach him a lesson of. No, the point of love. Love, ladies and gentlemen, was the point there. And again, I've made a point regarding Nadeko and not understanding the purpose of something being for love. I've made the point of Shinobu potentially hiding information from Araragi to protect him during maybe Shinobu Mail. Or potentially it just shows that Shinobu maybe cares a little bit more for Araragi than she lets on, in that, hey, I like donuts more than anything else in the world, but these are still Araragi's donuts, so I'm going to let him have them in a little bit of a secret tsundere adjacent way. Again, these are my major points, none of which I'm sure about, none of which have a whole lot of backing for them. Again, we got some Atori connections. We got some Awari connections. I don't know. Something happened. Hanako is cute. That's about my understanding here, I think. So I think it's time to go onwards and upwards to episode 10? Episode 10. We just came off 9, actually. Which would be January. Which, actually, I meant to do this last time, so I'll do it now. It would be Koyomimonogatari, ladies and gentlemen. Why did I write Shen Shou Gahara here? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Remember the closet? Yeah, so there's a bunch of Koyomimonogatari stuff here, right? Which is Kaiki POV, which is Senjukahara involved, which is this, which is that, right? Because I wouldn't think it had anything to do with this small conversation that was in the end of Monogatari. I wouldn't think that. So where else are we linking this to? Well, else does Aragi even show up after this? Suki Monogatari, I guess. And then like not really much else. There's a little bit of extra stuff here in March, and a little bit of stuff here where it ends up they didn't die because Kaiki fixed it, which was also in January. So maybe it's the aftermath of that. I don't know. I do not know. If I had to pick a girl, I don't know. I think we're almost close to running out, right? Yotsugi? Yotsugi would be an interesting one, I think. She's also got an opening that we can use. It's also a banger, so I wouldn't mind seeing it again. And I'm not going to have to wait very long because I'm going to do that like right now. So see you in a second. And yeah, I have episode 10 of Koyomimonogatari up here ready to go. Let me pop that up there. 13 minutes and 34 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly. Picture in picture, Twish Y subs, and 3, 2, 1. Radio? 3, 2, 1, go. I'd imagine that this is, yeah. This is a banger, by the way. Hello, Yotsugi. So yeah, this was your Suki Monogatari opening from memory, right? That fourth episode of Suki Monogatari, I was watching some stuff on that again the other day. Unreal. It may be my favorite episode, I'm dead ass. It's... Why would you do that? It's so funny to me. Unpopular opinion, potentially. It's probably the best singing voice in one of the openings, too. But okay, let's try to think like themes. What are themes of Suki Monogatari? Augie doing weird shit, sure. Monster human, sure. Perspective, which I mean, that's a theme in like everything. Doll human as well. Monster human, doll human. Koyomi seed? No! I don't want to see seed. Oni-chan. That's funny. Stop doing the yay. Loves a train station. What? I don't know. Are you going to be a delinquent? Mid-January. Okay. Sure. Stop. Yeah. What about them? Looking for something. Okay. I thought you were just doing like cute anime stuff. I don't know. Hmm. Well, that's no. It's got the pencil that he. Yeah, that's great. I've been studying, but it's hard. Just die? Well, there's, yeah, life, death, human afterlife. Just die. Okay. Well, what are we looking for? I need some specifics. Exactly. What? No, you're not being helpful. Don't yay me. Don't yay me. Okay. Okay. Perspective. Seeing things that are potentially unseen now. Changing point of view. Oh, this was also the one that she talked with Kaiki here at this little restaurant. Oh, you need to get up higher. But Aragi's not that much taller, really. Yeah. He's not like a giant man. Yeah, go get Kaganui, she's tall. Wow. An event. Then we already did like a piggyback thing, right? With you? What, stand on his head? We're like running through chapters here. Oh. Sure. Why? Yeah, that's a great question as well. Ooh, interesting. You have been pushing your limits because you keep going up to the shrine to fight Nadeko. Okay. How do you know that? But I do. It's true. I don't know, whenever the hell graduation is. Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, I've been fighting. I don't know, but what else am I supposed to do? Just, like, brute force it. Hmm. I'd rather die? Okay, there's our seed. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. As if there's some kind of person fucking with him relentlessly. Okay, yeah. Augie's fucking with you, dude. Okay, this episode's pretty smart. Oh, that was very interesting. Okay. I have no idea what. Yeah, it's like a CG something. My nose. Bird. Oh, okay. Just put a smile on your dial. Why is there a big rubber duck? But I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find Augie. Okay, so this is post Monogatari. She's in a swimsuit again. Get stupid, sexy Hanakawa. I'm trying to read the dialogue. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. I think she wanted to tell you something. Hmm. Okay. What's your point? Yeah. I think she wanted you to understand the concept of standing out. What? Oh yeah, Kaiki? Yeah. Oh. Oh, that's why we're at the same restaurant. Okay. Why? Okay. Thank you, Yotsugi. Ononoki-chan. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your nonchalant acts of thoughtfulness. Alright. I mean, that was more just ancillary to everything else, right? Whilst also broadly being about like perspective and not seeing things and missing things, and again how that impacts all of the Orgy arcs in the start of Owari. What else do I have to say? Yeah, that was actually pretty smart how it linked into every point in the timeline, right? Like this is what Araragi is doing whilst. Hang on, didn't he say that like me and Senjukahara went to a certain place and then I dropped her home and then wasn't there something in Koi about Senjukahara being with Araragi at a certain point in time too? I'm just trying to link this into like the timeline in Koi in a very specific way. Well, I just don't think that's really all that necessary, actually. But what matters is that she wanted him to stand out so he would be noticeable to Kaiki and that they wouldn't have that encounter, but they ended up having it anyway, up on the mountain. I guess we didn't want that encounter before what happened when Nadeko happened. It didn't matter if it happened after. Anyway, weird stuff. Sure. So yeah, a quick bit of analysis on episode 10 of Koyomimonogatari. And we're back, episode 10 of Koyomimonogatari. Lots and lots of cute Yotsugi stuff in this one, some broad stuff around Orgi and perception of Orgi and trying to figure out what Orgi's doing, and Araragi potentially not seeing what's right in front of his own face and not knowing what to look for and not seeing it, something like that. And also some broad stuff around Kaiki and needing to alert Araragi or alert Kaiki to Araragi's presence so that Kaiki can avoid Araragi and go about doing his business without being interrupted by him. Right, because it'll raise a whole bunch of questions regarding his association with Senjukahara, as well as what he's doing with Nadeko, which potentially Araragi would have some problems with, but maybe again this is all part of Orgi's master plan. I do not know. I thought the twist on this episode was quite clever. I liked the idea of, whilst looking for something, you do become more conspicuous. Like, people know that you're there when you're looking for something that isn't there. That's a little bit of a contradiction there, at least a little bit. And yeah, we're like you duck down a bunch. Your head's turning everywhere. You're looking up. You're on your tippy toes, stuff like that, right? Like, that is, you would notice somebody looking for something. And yeah, that's the kind of thing we're playing off of, right? Like, Araragi is looking for something and is thus more observable to Kaiki, and Kaiki can avoid him. And as well as just Yotsugi being very charming this episode, she says yay a lot, and I like that. So as long as we do that, I'm pretty happy with the episode. So then jumping into our quick little summary again, Araragi runs into Yotsugi on his way back from a test thing with Senjukahara that he potentially didn't do very well in. You could say that potentially he's very tired, potentially he's focused on something else, trying to extend his own life, right? And yeah, this has been part of the thing, right? I originally asked the question, like, if you know that your life is going to end at a certain point down in the future, why would you continue to study? But again, I think that effort in the face of no clear gain is one of Monogatari's major themes. So he's continuing his studying even though he knows he's going to die. And they have a small discussion about it as well, him and Yotsuki. So we're linking this into Koyomimonogatari, where Kaiki has that specific conversation with Ononoki. Guy and Izuku will be very mad if Kaiki disrupts the balance, right? But this in itself is manipulation to get Kaiki to do this. Guy and Izuku is pulling the strings here. She actually wants Kaiki to do this and is kind of giving that money reward as a means of, making him do this, kind of. I don't know. Yeah, there's some way. I think Guy Nezuko got what she wanted in the end, right? That's kind of the theme here. This is also, as I was reading, where we learn about the Shinobu stuff about Guy Nezuko wanting Araragi to enshrine her there, right? To enshrine Shinobu as the god of the shrine, as opposed to Nadeko, where that got hijacked by Orgi, right? That's where we learned this information, which I had forgotten where we learned it, and I'm very happy I remembered where we learned it. Either way, Yotsugi then finds him when he's on his way back from the test thing by himself. She tries really, really hard to get him involved. Now thinking back to, that's probably why she did so many yays and really tried to get his attention, right? Because it's very important that you stay out of this right here, right now, right? Yotsugi has a goal to find something. It's nothing. It's a goal to make Araragi stand out. She lied. She deceived him, potentially, right? So they agree to get some height whilst walking around and, finding whatever it is. Apparently we'll know it if we see it, but the day passes and we don't find anything. Later on, so way down like here somewhere, here, sure, here. After Tsuki Monogatari, when Yotsugi kind of joins the family in a way, right, to protect Araragi, Hanakawa reveals to Araragi that the process there was likely more about Kaiki and alerting him to Araragi's presence, so making him look conspicuous so Kaiki can avoid him and continue doing his plan to get Nadeko out. Again, there's some broad stuff about Yotsugi being in the pocket of Guy Nezuko, so Guy Nezuko's probably pulling the strings here a little bit too. Like, hey, keep Araragi out of this, let Kaiki do his thing, he will succeed. We will get rid of girl out of shrine, and then I don't know what happens from there, really. So yeah, that was basically our little story there. Hanakawa was also in a bikini for part of it, so that was pretty good. But other than that, like, I'm just going to jump into the episode and basically tell you what I just told you there. I didn't really see much else, I don't think. In reading this opening, again, some broad stuff around stars and paradoxes and things not being what they seem, and some kind of mint flavor. Yeah, I don't know. It's Yotsugi. It's a really good opening, though, by the way. And I like the part where she, like, stares into my soul as well. That's pretty good. So this is Koyomi Seed. And to my knowledge, Seed is only really brought up once, but Seed and the whole tree sapling, dead tree metaphor thing links Araragi and Kaiki. So I guess that's also what we're kind of talking about here. Something grows from a seed. You don't really... You plant a seed and you'll see how it bears fruit later on, which is kind of the structure of the episode as well. We don't really get a date here, but it says January, so I'd imagine that this is during Koyomimonogatari when Kaiki's trying to maneuver things. I'd imagine it's actually the same day, considering Yotsugi is at that same little restaurant there, right? In retrospect, I really like this portion of the episode where she's trying to get his attention as much as possible, using as many little weird vocal inflections, doing the yay thing, standing right in his way before he climbs up the stairs. Like, it's very clear what she's trying to do, which is, hey, you need to not be out on the prowl looking for a Kaiki. Like, he even tries to keep walking away at one point, and she continues to chase him down. Hey, running away isn't good. You may turn me into a delinquent. If I turn into a delinquent, how will you take responsibility for it with Oni-chan? Just, like, making up some bullshit. Like, we need to get Araragi, like, in my little scheme. But it does say mid-January there, and then it said, like, I was doing something with Senjugahara. Yeah, mid-January there. I was heading home from the National Center for University Admissions. After escorting Senjugahara back to her place, I was walking home. Gotcha. So he's doing some kind of big pre-test for college applications, right? I like all the stupid magical girl bullshit we do as well, like all this stuff. It's just great. I love it. Everybody already complains about the sideways peace sign. Well, they do. Kaiki didn't like it either. He specifically told you to stop. There's one part where she starts one, and then he says, like, stop that, and she lets out, like, a exasperated end of the yay, which I thought was very good. So apparently, she's currently looking for something. She doesn't know what it is, but she needs help. Araragi would like to help, but apparently the multiple choice test didn't go very well, as represented by the pencil. If you roll the pencil and then get a number, right, that's what your number's going to be on the test. Which is not a good way to do multiple choice. It means you have no clue. And yeah, it's implied that, hey, his mind may be slightly altered off of studying. He's continuing to persist, but again, he's got other problems at the moment. He's kind of spending a lot of his energy at night trying to defeat Nadeko. Just trying to throw his body into the situation as much as possible. There's some stuff here where she tells him, why don't you just go die? Which may link into some of the life, death, what is alive, what is dead thing that Yotsugi has going on as it pertains to herself, Araragi, and Hachikuji, right? A lot of the episode becomes clear once you understand, like, her motivation. It's very clear it's just some bullshit. All along the way, she's, like, dodging questions about what it actually is, right? And just continue, like, saying yay and, like, insulting him and, like, getting his attention. And it's like Aragi's a baby, and she's getting, like, the keys and jingling them in front of him, just to make sure that he doesn't potentially notice Kaiki's in town. So we want Araragi and Yotsugi to spread their field of vision to potentially see something that's affecting them. This is where we get into the other portion of the episode, in my opinion, where she is broadly talking about the Orgi situation, and probably buoyed by Guy Nezuko, who's like, this is bad. Yotsugi's like, hey, Araragi, you should broaden your point of view here, right? And look for some things that potentially you can't see at the moment that are impacting you. And then, of course, that links into Monogatari and him not seeing the potential danger within Orgi, even linking into that scene in March that we saw at the end of Shinobu Mail, implying that, hey, still at the end of March, he hasn't really seen anything wrong with what he's doing with Orgi, where he's still having a conversation with Orgi within his own very bedroom, right? Even after, like, Suki Monogatari, when it's been established very, very clearly to Araragi that Orgi is bad news. I don't know, it's just, yeah, he's very, very persistent in this. So then we get into the vertical challenge of the episode, right? Where you're very short. Ononoki's not Ononoki. Kaganui's also kind of short, but I thought she was kind of tall and slender though. So they're what's the word? Vertically challenged. So they need to combine their talents to potentially look for something with a bit of a higher point of view, looking down at it. And again, as we'll talk about later, this is because when you're looking for something and when you're up so high looking for something, you're also conspicuous to people that maybe want to find you and avoid you. This restaurant, of course, that they're eating at, this little cafe, it's the same one that she has the conversation with Kaiki about Gai Nezuko and that whole side of it and the money and, yeah, that thing. Where we're trying to manipulate Kaiki into doing certain things, knowing Kaiki's character traits, as is revealed at the end of Koyomimonogatari. Yeah, it's probably like you like stuck around at this area while Kaiki went off to do Kaiki things, probably back up to the shrine or something. Where you're like, hey, I got to make sure that Araragi doesn't do anything weird. And again, probably at the request of Gai Nezuko. So Araragi suggests that maybe I'm going to carry Yotsugi on my shoulders or something. She knows what she's looking for potentially, right? She would be able to see it. I'm going to get her up as high as possible, but that doesn't work. I won't carry you on my shoulders. I won't let you carry me. There's too much of a loss of height if we let that happen. So we're going to do the Kaganui thing where Aragi's going to stand on her finger. Somebody's got to like get this pose of Yotsugi where she's got like the finger up, right? Wherever it is. And put like the stupid glasses on her to make her look like a nerd. Actually, that's what she's doing at the moment. It's crazy. Aragi's worried that he may potentially see what they're looking for but not be able to see it. Of course, it's a fake thing that they're looking for, so of course it doesn't matter at all. But he thinks he's pushing his limits as a vampire, so potentially if it's like a supernatural thing, he won't be able to see it very well. If anything at all seems suspicious, report it to me. There will be nothing suspicious. This is, I guess, where Yotsugi reveals that she knows more information than we think she knows at this point, we being Araragi. You only have 6 months to live. There's a definite time limit on your time left on Earth because of the events of Otori Monogatari and Nadeko. So what happens first, right? Do you get your college test results back or do you die? It's actually kind of in the middle. I do my exams, graduation happens, that's where I would die, and then I get the results back. So I won't be able to get the results back for these tests that I'm studying very hard for. Again, in the pursuit of effort rather than a test score, right? Potentially linking that to some Augie classroom stuff? Maybe? So Araragi at this point in time is not only making useless efforts, but suffering useless defeats as well. Why does he continue to do it, right? He thinks it's not necessarily useless, but it is. He's not going to win against a god. And Araragi does not want to contact Gai Nezuko about this and ask for her help, not knowing that he's already receiving Gai Nezuko's help right here at this moment. He thinks that he planted this seed and he must reap what he sowed, right? Like he thinks that this is some kind of judgment for going against her will and not using that talisman for its correct purpose, that being Shinobu. So this is Araragi at this point in the story thinking, hey, like, this is my cross to bear. People only help themselves. People don't help other people, right? Like, I need to do this by myself. This is why I'm going with my vampire form. Like, going to this location, trying this, futile thing every single day. And it's not getting me any results. But I don't care because it's not about that. It's about the principle of the thing. Which is very, very, very Araragi. This is interesting, actually. It's also like almost bringing back some Neko Kuro stuff, right? Where because of certain principles and because of the value of his own life being lower than what he thinks, he's just going to continue to do this because he thinks it's the correct thing to do at this point in time. Interesting. Okay, that's actually really cool. And then, of course, he doesn't know about the people helping him behind the scenes, right? So people only help themselves. No, not really. He's getting help right here at this moment, right? From Kaiki, from Gai Nezuko, from even Yotsugi here in this scene. Like, from Senjugahara. Like, yeah, everyone's trying to support him, but he's trying to go out and do this whole, like, weird charade on his own. I think I've hit upon something here. That's actually really, really cool. I like that a lot. And this is where Yotsugi's broadly like, hey, haven't you noticed some things happening lately that are a bit weird? Like, things keep falling into disarray as if something is keeping balance, right? Well, somebody's trying to keep balance, that being kind of Zuko. We don't know what Augi's trying to do. You could call it a weird kind of balance, but we call it more like proper than anything else, right? I don't think you're so dense that you wouldn't feel how unnatural it is. Hey, I've got news for you. He is that dense. He still, after all this time, doesn't realize what a threat Augie is. You could even argue he's being dense right here at this moment for not understanding why he's standing up so high, not understanding the true meaning behind that. Like, is he stupid? I don't know. It's unfair, but he is a forgetful, unperceptive person, Araragi. I don't know what this the spinning dancer by Nobuyuki Kayahara is. I guess I could look it up. The spinning dancer, also known as the silhouette illusion, is a kinetic, bistable, animated optical illusion originally distributed as GIF animation showing a silhouette of a pirouetting female dancer. Some observers initially see the figure spinning clockwise, and some see counterclockwise. Additionally, some may see the figure suddenly spin in the opposite direction. Again, not being perceptive, changing perspective, not seeing things one way, one party seeing things one way, one party seeing it another way, perspectives potentially changing. That's an interesting little metaphor, and I thought it was very well animated as well. Yeah, so that one, it definitely looked counterclockwise. Oh no, that one looked clockwise, the other one looked counterclockwise. Interesting. Something that anyone would know what it is when they see it, as she's doing the same dance, right? Anyone would know when they see it, but something you lose sight of when you look for it. And apparently that's a smile. We're pairing that with some feathers. Well, I mean, white feathers takes you all the way back to like the first episode, but I don't know. A smile. I don't understand what a smile is in this context. Either way, we go on to the epilogue. I do not know why there is Big Rubber Ducky, but this is epilogue. We wandered all over town until sunset, but we couldn't find anything. Nothing was achieved. We didn't do anything. Like, it was almost like it had a different purpose that we needed to shift perspective to see. A while later, when I rescued Kambaro and my little sisters, so in the immediate aftermath of Tsukimonogatari, what do you think is the hardest thing to look for? I'm talking about Ononoki-chan's story. As we see Hanakawa in some kind of hot spring, sure. So again, this is much like the previous episode where Hanakawa was just going to like spill all the beans and make it all okay. That's good. This is very interestingly structured too. Originally, Hanakawa asks the question of what's the hardest thing to look for, but then doesn't really care about the answer considering it's only the preface question for the real question. So what's the question after the preface? What would you think is the easiest thing to find? Of course, I think that would be something you'd know it when you see it. Kind of like what Yotsugi said earlier in the episode. Apparently that's a lie. It's not something that you know of when you see it. But Ononoki-chan wasn't looking for anything, right? Again, we have the same problem as the previous episode where you're in like a bikini, a white bikini by the way. Nice color analysis stuff there. And I'm trying to read the dialogue. It's it's distracting. The hardest thing to look for is something that doesn't exist, and that's what we were doing. That's the answer to the initial question. So again, we asked that same question, what was the hardest thing to find? Or what is the easiest thing to find? And it wasn't that Yotsugi just told like a lie because she wanted to play with Araragi. It's not a stupid story like that. She actually had a point. Something easy to find is something that stands out. As we see, she's made her way to Machu Picchu, I think. Nothing stands out more than someone looking for something, right? And this is our main philosophy as to why we did what we did. Stopping in your tracks, looking around, bending down, standing on your tippy toes, it's everything that makes you stand out as opposed to somebody just walking around. Think about it. So say you're sitting down on the couch and whoever's in your family, like somebody else in the house, is looking for something around you. You immediately like notice them, right? Like think about it. And you would ask, what are you looking for? And then you would maybe help. Like, that's a situation that's played out many, many times, right? I like this piece of philosophy. I think it's true. So again, we're relating this to what Araragi did. He was standing on some doll's finger, like 3 meters up in the air. He was obviously standing out. So Ononoki's plan was to make you stand out. And she hoisted you up like a flag to make you stand out. Ononoki wanted you to stand out because there was somebody in town that you weren't supposed to meet, at least yet. In January. Do you remember Araragi? Because I remember it was Kaiki. We don't want you to meet Kaiki, somebody you weren't supposed to meet that didn't want to bump into you either. But in the end, I did bump into him, of course, Kaiki. That somebody was visiting town virtually every day, so I don't think it would have been strange to pass him by at some point. So we need to hoist you up at certain points of the day to make sure that you're visible to him so he can avoid you. And we see the color change here, right, making him stand out, almost this like heavenly aberration glow to him as well. By looking for something hard to find, she made me easy to find so that the con artist and I wouldn't have a close encounter that could potentially end up ruining things. Don't ask about this shot. So in the back of our mind, right, we're like, well, why did she do this? Well, I'm thinking potentially there's some Gaian influence there, right, of not wanting Araragi to interrupt and ruin things. In reality, she probably just didn't want Araragi to be as stressed as he was, as anxious as he was at that point in time, had a lot on his plate, just wanted to ease his mind and not get him involved in this whole process either. So nothing happened, no incidents, no story to tell, because somebody like her was standing at the center of it, preventing it from happening. And yeah, Araragi didn't realize that at this point in time, so many different people were helping him from not being even more stressed than he already was at this point in life, right? People only help people. Well, what a farce. I didn't even realize the people that were helping me. It's impossible to live completely on your own, right? Hanakawa bringing this point up as well, probably linking into some of the Sodachi stuff as well. One of the lines we use there is people only help people, when in reality we're trying to go back and support Sodachi more than we did. Normally you don't think about stuff like that while working through your nonchalant life, and perhaps such nonchalant acts of thoughtfulness are the hardest thing to find. And I just wanted to pause on Hanakawa's mouth here because she makes her look like a cat, and I thought that was cool. Nonchalant acts of thoughtfulness. This is also the pose that she has when she's like sitting in the vending machine as well, which is interesting. And I think that's the end of the episode, right? Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that's the end of our 3 episodes. I think episode 10 was probably the most poignant. I really actually like the moral there. I really like Araragi coming to this realization way after the fact of, hey, I preach this weird thing that people can only help people, right? People only help themselves. But in reality, I have so many other people supporting me. Again, and also linking into the Araragi not noticing Augie stuff, not noticing all the things he forgot stuff from Owari Monogatari. I think there's some Hanakawa links into people only help people and how that relates to the Sodachi stuff and all the rest of the show really as well. Yeah, this was great. I love how it links into Koyomimonogatari in a smart way, helping to justify potentially maybe a plot hole that Araragi didn't see Kaiki, even though he's out and about every day doing his thing. Yeah, these 3 episodes broadly also dealt with Otori Monogatari in various ways that I thought was interesting as well. That whole Nadeko situation. I guess that's the major plot point of this like time in the timeline as well. So that only makes sense as well. So what do we have? The weird one with Augie standing on the roof of the shrine and then like the shrine being moved and didn't really have much there. We had the one with the donuts. Didn't really have much there. But this one I think I have a little bit more. Episode 10. Yeah. Okay. I think I found something there. That's good. And then, yeah, next week it'll be 11 and 12, moving into the end of Koyomimonogatari into Owari second season, which, from all reports, is the best received portion of the story, I think, right? At least according to aggregate scores on sites. So looking forward to that, I guess. I don't know. This was really good. But I'm also going to sign off and go to work and then come back and edit this, so that sounds good. So let's do my show stuff. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord. Join Discord, love Discord, Discord. And yeah, I'll catch you next week for some more Koyomimonogatari. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.